Well, guess I'm bored today, so here's another video, right? So, this is obviously the Bren gun. But the video is not about the Bren gun itself, it's about something that you can get for it, right? Take that off, take that off. Right, let's chuck this thing out of the way. Right. Now you can get, obviously, the bog standard magazines that everybody's got. You know, the curved 303 magazines. What everyone's always been looking for, or as far as I've been collecting this stuff, everyone's always been wanting the drum magazines, right? Now, unless you have a pile of money, and I'm talking it's like a significant amount of money, you're not going to be able to afford the drum magazines, right? Because for some reason they go for like over $1,000. It's crazy. But there are options. You know, there are reproduction ones made, right? And I'll show you this one. Right. Now this is made of steel, right? This is solid, right? It's not like one of these aluminium made copies or anything like that, right? This thing is hefty. It's a good, I think it's about 4 kilos in weight, so there's a bit of heft to it, right? What they've done is, the carrying handle that's on the top, it's part of a Lee Enfield sling that they've used. The winding mechanism, right, it doesn't really work, it's just there for show, but some of the bits move. And then on the bottom, what they've done is they've got this part here. This was a section of original magazine, just a standard magazine. And what they've done is spot welded it on the corners. Now the one I got, the spot weld wasn't too great on one corner, so really it was only held on with this one side. So if you can catch it there, on the sides, just there. I've got a rivet gun, so I just drilled out 4 holes and I riveted it in place, so it is now rock solid. It's not moving at all. Whereas before, all that weight was held by two spot welds there, because the ones on this side hadn't taken. Anyway, not an issue. I was able to fix it. The other thing that I fixed, or not fixed, but I tweaked, right in the centre, where this rotates, there was a tiny spot weld as well. It just gave way. So I put a bolt all the way through it, with a nut and a washer, right, and that is not coming off. Okay. Maybe I got a Monday morning one, I don't know. But anyway, on the whole, I was happy with this, because with my Bren gun that I do have there, sometimes when I go to reenactments, I set it up on the anti-aircraft tripod, and like I say, it was one of those things, everybody was always looking for a drum magazine. Now, I don't remember off the top of my head where I got it from. The guy had a big long waiting list though, but I think this was his first run that he makes, and he's since, as I understand it, he's since changed the magazine, so there's a slight spring inside, so you can put a couple of dummy rounds in there, so it looks like it's a loaded magazine. But this just fits, just with no modification to the weapon, right? Because when you fitted a real one, just move this out of the way. When you fitted a real one, you have to take the barrel off. Now, unfortunately, the barrel doesn't come off on my one, but you would take the barrel off, and it would be a bracket that would fit along here on this rail, and it would sit right above the barrel, just here, and there'd be a little, like a little lug at the front of the magazine that would lock in place and hold it in position. This option means you don't have to mess about with that, because the bracket, even the bracket itself, goes for quite a tidy sum. So with this, just lock that in place. With this one, all you need to do is open up the top cover, right, and then you can see magazine fits perfectly, right? There's a bit of gap here, but again, if you had the adapter, the adapter would sit underneath here, but it's on solid. It's not going anywhere, right? Again, it's a lot of weight on top of the Bren gun, so if you have it, ideally have it on the tripod, because there's no way you're going to be walking around with this gigantic lump of steel hanging out the top of your Bren gun, right? Because it's got no innards on the inside, you can still fire it, right? So the action still works, but as an option, I'd say if you've got the money for it, and I think it was 120 quid. I might be wrong. I got it about 2 years back, but it was around about 120 quid. But for something that's custom made, that fills a gap that will probably cost you over £1,000, it's an option. So it's definitely worth looking up. So yeah, I'm happy I got it. I've used it at a couple of shows, and I'm not the only person that's got them. I have seen 4 or 5 people now with these, so they're out there. But yeah, if you're into your Bren guns, if you do reenactment or anything like that, good option. But as you've seen there, the only downside is your rear sights, like the real one, right? The rear sights don't see over it, right? But well, there you go. So for all you Bren junkies out there, gets a thumbs up from me.